All right, guys, day 2 back from the hardware store, and we are getting ready to make our seed starter boxes as well as our microgreen boxes for the chickens. So I ended up getting a few cedar planks. Those are going to be really good to help stop moisture incursion, to help protect them. We are also going to char them. We'll wipe off all the extra char, and then we will put a coating on them with a natural oil. I'm going to use birch for the bottom. This isn't the best wood, but there wasn't really anything else that was a good, suitable second. So this is the best I could find. Since the seed starter boxes aren't going to be that wet, and they're only going to be wet for a few weeks at a time, I'm not super worried about this. If I was going to have this be wet or growing something out of it all the time, like I will the microgreens, I wouldn't be using this bottom, or else you're going to be replacing it every year or every other year. So for the microgreens box, we are just going to use a layer of our hardware cloth. We're just going to use a layer of a hardware cloth right there. We're going to use a layer of micro cloth on the bottom to hold in the dirt. I'm also going to put some actual cloth underneath that, and that'll help retain everything because it's going to be wet basically all the time. And we do want it to be mobile, so we'll be able to move it. And then for the lid side of it, we are going to just staple on more of the hardware cloth. Let's get to it. All right, for our tool lineup, I have a hammer and some, what do you call these things? NM cable staples, 500. This is going to be used to hold the hardware cloth in place. You could probably use a normal staple gun, but these are going to be a little bit more heavy duty. So this is what we're going with. Tin snips to cut the staples. I'm going to be using a finishing nail gun to hold the boxes together. These don't need to be super heavy duty. You could use nails, you could use screws, it's up to you, but this is just fast and easy. And then a skill saw to make all of our cuts. I'm going to do all 90-degree cuts. If you want to get fancy, you could do 45s so they look really clean and nice. I'm a pretty simple guy, so we're going to go simple on this one. Let's check it out. I'm going to be using a framing square and a pencil and a measuring tape. That way we can figure out how long the cuts need to be and cut nice straight cuts. With this size wood, it's not super necessary that you get a perfect cut, but what can I say? These are 1x4s and they are lengths of cedar. We're going to start off with 4 boxes total, and we're going to do them 1 foot by 18 inches. So we should need 6 18 inchers and 6 1-footers. Let's go. Now let's put them together. So I'm going to be burning these to add an extra layer of protection. When you get that light burn on the outside, you give it a little bit more water resistance. So we're going to do that. I'm going to do that before I build them. That way any moisture that seeps in between the cracks, the ends of them will also be burned. I'm going to sweep up the floor, make sure we don't light the shop on fire. We're going to get them down there and burn them. Let's go. So I thought I had beeswax to coat all the wood with. Apparently I don't, but I do have some food grade mineral oil, so this is what we're going to put on here. I'm just going to put a light layer on everything. Beeswax I think just stays on a little better, so I prefer that, but definitely not mandatory. But you're just going to get a coat of this on all the wood, and then we're ready to assemble. Okay, everything's been treated. Now it's time to actually assemble. This should be pretty quick and easy. Let's do it. And 3. Okay, that's it for the seed starter boxes. Next, we're going to go to the microgreens. The boxes are going to be built the same, but again, we're going to do a different bottom and top on them. Let's check it out. And they're done. Microgreen boxes are ready to have the bottoms put on. So next thing we're going to do is measure out hardware cloth and staple it on. Let's check it out. There's probably an easier way to do this, but that's all right. We'll just line it up. And I'm going to snip, 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 and snip. All right, we need 3 more. All the screens are cut to size. Let's put them on. So the idea here is that there will be greens growing in here. The chickens will be able to come walk on this, and then the greens will grow up through this hardware cloth. They'll be able to peck down and eat whatever grows up, but then they can't destroy the root system or the base of the plant itself. These are actually going to grow like this, and I'm going to have a lid that goes on top that we're going to make out of these right here. Lid's going to be the exact same thing, and I'm going to put some landscaping fabric down to allow good drainage, but also to help hold all the soil in. Putting the larger staples in the corners for two reasons. One, it's going to help nail the two pieces of wood together, and two, that's going to maintain the majority of the weight on the system. And then the middle staples are with the gun. They're not quite as deep or sturdy, but they do add some support. Okay, seed starter boxes are finished. Here is our microgreens box for our chickens. So we have mesh top and bottom. The bottom of this is going to get some yard cloth that's going to lay in there. That's going to allow for really good drainage because these are going to stay wet or moist a lot of the time. They're going to live outside. They're probably going to be somewhere where they get sprinklers on them. We'll just see what kind of greens we're growing, but this will allow for the chickens to come hop on top. They'll stand up here. They're nice and light, so they're not going to crush it, but it's going to stop them from killing the root system so they can have constant snacks that they can come over here and get some food. Let's go get some seeds in the ground. Feel free to skip this part. I'm going to take 30 seconds and say thank you to everyone watching that subscribes, that likes, that comments, all of the above. I appreciate it. It lets me know that you're interested, that you want to see more content like this, and helps me keep creating for you. If there's something specific you want to see, put it in the comments. I would love to hear about it. Make sure and subscribe so you see all of our content that comes out. And if you really love to hear the sound of my voice, ding that bell so you get a notification every time new stuff comes out. See ya.